go through your under-19 days and you sort of decided you want to be a cricketer. You start Ranji Trophy. And I remember those years I've spoken to you when the selection was not happening. And you sort of questioning yourself whether I should hit more, whether I should be more brisk. And you said, I remember a quote still, on the 6 marna it's all fine and the 6 over covers. But I need to stay there. But then you were saying that I was fighting with myself that anyway I have the patience to stay, but I still need to find a way where I can hit the ball and stuff. So you get over, how difficult was this for you to get over that phase? And the selection was still not coming. So how were you handling your emotional system? Who was that time?
It was a tough time, but luckily it taught me one single lesson, which was to score as many runs as possible. And that is when the habit of scoring big hundreds came, because when I was playing Ranji Trophy, when I was performing well, we have some great cricketers in the Indian team whom I couldn't replace. And even if I think about the current Indian team, I can't replace them, because we had Rahul Dravid, we had Sachin Tendulkar, we had VVS Lakshman. So there was no way I could get into the Indian team. And I realized that, that was the fact. But from my side, what I could do is to score as many runs as possible in domestic cricket, and I started scoring double hundreds, and even double hundred wasn't enough at times, so I started scoring triple hundreds. And that is when that became a habit, and which is helping me now when I'm playing for the Indian team, because you become a little more responsible, you start understanding your game even more. And if you want to play big innings, I learned that during my Ranji Trophy and first class career.
It's easy, but what is your routine when you're in the middle? You're facing this John Hazelwood, James Anderson, all coming after you. I think there was, in South Africa, I remember we were discussing Vernon Philander. So 8 overs you just played out. Virat Kohli was on the other side. You sort of, not protected him, but you sort of helped him ease into the, his innings. 8 overs, ball is just swinging, you're just leaving, and we are wondering, forget getting bored, you were wondering, was there shit, I need to score some runs here, how do you tackle those kind of mental thoughts?
That particular test match at Johannesburg, I think it was the third test match against South Africa, where conditions were really difficult, and that is one of the toughest pitches I've played on. So what I realized in that particular innings was to make sure that we don't lose too many wickets early on, because if I was getting beaten, I was getting beaten by a lot of distance. So if I'm defending here, the ball was going from there, and I had no clue of how to score runs in such conditions. So I told myself that I have to spend some time, let the pitch settle a little more, and then I can play my shots. But when I was playing 30-40 dot balls, there was a little bit of pressure on me, which was rising. But as I said, I think the most important thing when you are playing Test cricket is you have to be mentally really, really tough, and you have to accept such challenge and try and be confident in such situations, because when conditions are tough, I personally believe that you, as a batsman, you start feeling that you can play some shots and release that pressure. But especially in Test cricket, it is important that you handle that pressure, fight through those situations, and then you can always capitalize once the pitch settles down, once the bowlers are tired, you know what shots you can play on such pitches. So I just wanted to stay calm, although I think I don't remember the number of balls when I got my first run. It was more than 40 balls, but yeah, I think I just wanted to bat through that time, and I knew that it will eventually help the team. So that is what happened. But yeah, there was a lot of pressure early on, but it settled down eventually.
Cheteshwar, you spoke about the bowlers bowling at you and all that, but what about the talk which goes behind, people like sledging? Did you face that in Australia? We heard that they have softened at the start of the series, but maybe gradually things changed a bit. I think last test, one thing which we heard was Nathan Lyon telling you that don't you get bored of batting. Was there anything else said?
Especially against Australia, what I've realized is start of the series, it's always on a higher side. And I remember from 2017-18 series which we played in India, first 2 test matches were tough for us. We lost first test match at Pune, and then we won the second one at Bangalore. So it was one of the toughest series I've been part of, but I still remember the incidents where in, I think, third test match at Ranchi, O'Keefe, their left-arm spinner, after when I was batting on 170, 180, he came and initially he was sledging a lot in Pune and Bangalore, but eventually he came and told me that if you don't get out now, we will have to ask for wheelchairs. So especially against Australia, it is always tough when you're starting a series, and I knew that it won't be easy even this time when we started in Adelaide. There was a little bit of sledging, but eventually they knew that I don't respond to their sledges, and I'm always confident of what I'm doing. And I always believe that you have to be confident in what you are doing. You have to be focused rather than responding to what they are saying. It's important to stay focused, communicate with your partner who is playing with you, and if you are focused, I think they can't break you.
What's India's team policy or strategy when it comes to sledging? Like a player who's fielding close by, are they the designated sledgers, or you have specific people, or you target certain batsmen? How does it work?
Well, sometimes you have to sledge them because you want to disturb them. I'm not one of the leading sledgers in the Indian team. But we have some players who do sledging at times. I can't name them at this platform. But it is important, I think, as long as you don't cross that line of getting personal with another player, especially your opponents, as long as it stays friendly, as long as it doesn't hurt them. Sometimes it has to hurt, but not that there can't be personal comments, and it has to be strictly related to their game. Then it's okay. But ultimate focus has to be winning the test match or the series. So one odd sledge is fine, but ultimately we still focus on the game and we want to win the game.
So who are the nicest guys in world cricket? Which is the team which don't indulge in, or who are the worst kinds? Can you slot?
I would say England is the kindest because they focus on their cricket, apart from a couple of their bowlers. I don't want to name them, but some of their bowlers will always try and sledge us. But overall, England is someone who doesn't sledge much, and yeah, they've been the kindest to us so far.
England, you have a nice experience. You spend time in county cricket. At Yorkshire, you have a lot of friends also. They also gave you a name, I guess. They call you Steve. You said because they can't pronounce your name, so they just randomly gave you a name. Yeah. You also heard there's another name. What was?
A Pooji submarine. This is Pooji.
Yeah, there was a song which they prepared for me.
So they made a song for you there?
Yeah, they made a song for me, and they wanted to find a nickname for me because they couldn't pronounce Cheteshwar. So they came up with Steve, and then Steve became very popular. I never thought the guy. I mean, Jake Brooks. He's the one who gave me that nickname, and there was one day there was a headlines that Steve Pujara scored number of runs or whatever it was. He sent me a message that when I find this nickname, I never thought that it will be so popular in world cricket.
You're talking about England county. Just before the last series, you had a bad run of scores, and in fact you dropped the first test because of that. So I believe I heard that you met Kumar Sangakkara as well, and you guys had a chat. Could you tell us what you guys discussed and how did that help you when you came back?
Yeah, I had a chat with Kumar Sangakkara. The reason was he's someone who has scored a lot of runs in county cricket, and whenever he has played international cricket in England, especially in England, he's someone who was a standout cricketer for me. And when I had a chat with him, what he told me is that there are a few shots which I had to avoid in England to be successful, and there are a few shots which I had to work on. Another thing is I need to be aware of where my off stump was, which obviously helped me leave the ball well. So I had a chat with him for about 20-30 odd minutes, and whatever he told, I tried, and I tried doing it in Rajkot. It wasn't easy because it is never easy to replicate such conditions in Rajkot, but I tried whatever I could before the England series started. And when I was playing county cricket, I tried few things which did help me prepare in a better manner before the England series started.
Suggestion about upright stands as well. I just wanted to check that.
Not much. He didn't interfere much with my stance and all. He told me about what shots I could play, what shots I had to avoid as a team, what we should have done to be successful in England. His experience playing with the Sri Lankan team and what their strategies were. Those are the things which we spoke about.
Okay, so you were dropped for the first test. How do you take this? Because you, in your mind, in people like us who we really rate you as a test batsman. So how do you sort of, disappointment, hurt probably events? How do you soak up that? And what do you do? You speak to your wife? What do you do?
Well, yes, you do speak to your family. Sometimes, whenever you are frustrated, family is the one whom you speak to. But at the same time, you can't take that frustration out. I mean, you just have to accept the fact that if you are dropped, you are dropped. You can't do much about it. It is something which is not in your control as a cricketer. And when you are playing, especially when you are playing a team sport, it is always tough to sit out, and especially someone like me who is playing test format, and if I'm not part of the test team, it becomes very difficult. But at the same time, I focus on the things which I have to do. And for me, luckily, in the same year I played county cricket, so I knew when I was sitting out, I knew what things I had to work on to be successful in test cricket, and I knew that my opportunities will come sooner or later. So I was very confident, and you just need to work on your game, and that is the only thing which you can focus on, rather than thinking about I'm dropped and when will I get my opportunity, or what should I do, whom should I speak to. Those are the thoughts which comes into your mind, but you still have to handle those thoughts and still focus on your fitness, your fielding, your batting, whatever things you can do as a cricketer. You just try and focus on those rather than worrying about anything else.
Cheteshwar, how important was this Australia tour? Like, you spoke about getting dropped in the first test in England. Now, at the end of the year, like almost till the end of the Australia series, now people have started talking about the importance of the number of balls you play. There has been talk about these greats, batting greats of the world who are talking about the way you bat. Do you think there's this whole change in perception about your batting in terms of test cricket? Do you think people are trying to understand test cricket better, or maybe they understand your batting better than now?
Well, I would agree. Things are changing now after what I've done in Australia. But I would also like to say that I haven't done anything new. This is something which all the great cricketers have done it in the past, and I've learned from them. So this is something which was always there in the game, but maybe because of white ball cricket, all the players have started playing more shots. They don't pay enough price to their wicket. So after my success, I think all over the world people have started talking about the way a batsman should play, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I think there are players who are playing white ball cricket and their natural game is to play shots. Someone like Virendra Sehwag, whom I've seen, I mean, I can never bat like him, and he will never be able to bat like Rahul Dravid or someone else. So you still have to maintain your individuality, but at the same time, there is always a scope for improvement.
Thanks a lot for coming. My name is Sriram Veera, and he is the National Sports Editor Sandeep Dwivedi. Now I call Mr. George Verghese, our CEO, to give a memento to Mr. Cheteshwar.